Tonight on SCTV3, see the steps to take in staying healthy during the height of the flu season.
Plus, learn more about
Tonight on SCTV3, see the steps to take in staying healthy during the height of the flu season.
Plus, learn more about the Black Student Union now they've been celebrating Black History Month.
All that and more tonight on SCTV3.
Hello and welcome to tonight's edition of SCTV3 Weekly News. I'm Liam Riley.
And I'm Caleb Knowles. Thank you for joining us.
We begin tonight with the key ways to avoid sickness this time of year. Typically, the winter months are the peak time of flu season, as the dry and cold air allows illnesses like influenza to spread at a higher rate.
In addition to the flu, colleges all over the country have been affected by the spread of illnesses like the norovirus. I looked into ways to slow down and prevent illnesses on campus.
Students on college campuses are affected by illnesses every year. College campuses seem to be one of the most common areas where diseases spread because of how close everyone is to each other. Springfield College and many other campuses around the country have been affected by illness and sickness this year. The most common illness that has been going around campuses around the country has been influenza and norovirus. I spoke with nurse practitioner and director of the health center, Kathleen Hogan Solis, about illnesses on campus.
There's been high levels of basically influenza A and influenza B. That's what we're seeing the most of. And there has been a surge in the past month or so. I mean, it's something that we see typically every year. It seems that every year there's a surge of something. And this year it happens to be, like I said, the influenza A. Also seeing a lot of the norovirus that causes a lot of the GI symptoms. That's where people get the nausea, the vomiting, diarrhea, and that type of stuff.
Kathleen also talked about ways you can avoid getting sick on campus. The best ways to avoid sickness is having good hygiene and taking care of yourself, especially in a confined area like a college campus.
Also, once take care of yourself, but in hopes of not spreading the illness to others, especially if somebody's running a fever, they should definitely not go to classes. They should contact their faculty and just let them know that they're sick and they can't make it to class. Good hand washing is also extremely important.
One of the best ways to prevent illnesses on campus is to thoroughly wash your hands, making sure to use hot soap and water and to scrub your hands for at least 30 seconds.
I also spoke with Springfield College student Jacob Miranda about his experience with sickness so far in college and the precautions he takes to avoid sicknesses.
But I usually get sick as soon as I get back onto campus. So usually I'm coming back from my house and going back to campus, and so I haven't really kind of built up that immunity, so it's kind of tough on my body getting back onto campus.
The best thing that students can do to avoid sickness is to wash their hands regularly, avoid people that are sick, or stay in your room if you are sick, and getting plenty of rest and hydration.
The health center is open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4, located behind the softball field.
The Student Society for Bridging Diversity hosted their 10th annual Legacy Ball last Saturday. The event held a special meeting this year. It was in honor of the life and legacy of John M. Wilson, the longtime advisor of the SSBD and founding director of the Multicultural Affairs Office. The ball featured a cocktail hour, presentation, and award ceremony for members of the club. Springfield College President Mary Beth Cooper was in attendance, as well as students from around campus, whether in the club or not. Performers from Allen Street Acapella also held a performance. David McMahon, the advisor of the club, says Wilson's legacy was something that the club wanted to celebrate.
For John, it was really about envisioning a place at Springfield College where everyone was welcome, regardless of their background, their faith or lack of faith, their racial or ethnic background. He wanted to provide a place and be a person anyone could come to. And so by continuing to celebrate him and his legacy, we hope to promote it among the folks here now, who knew him, but also just as importantly to those who didn't know him.
The event will continue next year in Springfield College's recognition of Black History Month. Next year will be the 11th anniversary of Wilson's death, who has since had a lounge area in the campus union named after him.
Nominations are now being accepted for this year's Leadership Awards. Ideal nominees for these awards are Springfield College students who have displayed leadership qualities either on campus or the surrounding communities. Students can be nominated for multiple awards, including the Emerging Leadership Award given to a first year or sophomore, as well as the Humanics Leader and Service Award. given to a person who aims to help others and work towards social justice. A single student can be nominated for more than one award, and there are certain ways students can stand out as nominees, says Dean of Students Suzanne Nolan.
What we're looking for are students from any class year who has made a contribution to a club, an organization, the campus community in a way that fits the criteria for any of the many awards.
The nomination form can be found in an email that was sent out campus-wide last Thursday, and nominations are due on Friday, February 28th.
Winter weather has created challenges across New England, and Springfield College has been no exception. With heavy snowfall, ice, and strong winds, parking and safety concerns have come to the forefront. Over the past week, Springfield College's Public Safety Department and Facility Management teams have been working tirelessly to address the aftermath of winter weather. Parking lots and sidewalks have been hit hard by snowfall and ice, leading to temporary parking relocation for students, faculty, and staff. On Sunday, many students were asked to move their cars from public safety to the parking lot by Blake Hall. Moves like this followed for students in parking lots by International Hall and the townhouses. Crews have been focused on clearing out ice and snow, but much of the parking lots still contain large patches of ice. Stay updated with ongoing parking changes through rave alerts from public safety found in your email.
The DEI office recently announced the 10th annual Women's Tea event on Friday, March 7th in the Dodge Room. This year's theme is Accelerate Action. It centers around taking quick, strong steps towards gender equality and breaking down the barriers women face in their personal and professional lives. Anyone can nominate a Springfield College student, faculty, or staff member who has shown support for gender equality and advocacy within the community. You can also nominate as many people as you'd like to be honored at the event. The Office of DEI Program Coordinator, Arlene Ramos-Ortiz, spoke about the importance of the event.
We want to highlight just women empowerment, women helping each other, and just how strong women are, and as an individual, as as a team, and how we come together.
The deadline for nominations is Sunday, March 2nd, and the link can be found through your school email.
This past Friday, Springfield College celebrated Douglas Day in the Learning Commons. Douglas Day recognizes the efforts of Frederick Douglass towards the abolition of slavery. Its celebration on February 14th marks the day Douglass picked to be his birthday. This year, the Learning Commons helped transcribe archives of African American history from the Library of Congress. A live stream was also held during the event with readings and interviews on the history of Black libraries and archives. Mackenzie Dunn helped put together the event and explains how the celebration first started.
Uplift voices. It goes through the Library of Congress, so we were very interested as librarians to partner on this and have students transcribing important documents from Black history, celebrating Frederick Douglass's chosen birthday, which is Valentine's Day.
For those that weren't able to tune into the live stream, it can be found on the Douglas Day YouTube channel.
Well, we're hoping for some warmer temperatures next week to melt all this snow away. But will we get them? Connor Rourke is in Studio B with a look ahead to next week's forecast.
Thanks, guys. Heading into the weekend, temperatures are rising into the high 30s as the new week begins. The sun hides as clouds cover the sky. We then expect some rain at the end of the week, so make sure to bring an umbrella. Hopefully we've escaped the icy conditions. But speaking of icy conditions, the recent snowstorms which have blanketed the Northeast are leaving roads treacherous and sidewalks nearly impassable. In New York, many salt factories have lost hundreds of pounds of salt, and a weather alert was issued in the state. This salt drought is not just in New York. Here in Western Mass and statewide, there have been salt shortages. These shortages have led the sidewalks of streets frozen, which has been causing many injuries for local residents. Local areas like Chicopee have been driving to neighboring states like Connecticut, collecting salt reserves to help combat the icy conditions. Here on campus, the sidewalks are still quite slippery, so be careful where you step. Now, back to you guys in the studio.
When we come back, see how the Black Student Union is working to create a welcoming community for minority groups on campus.
Oh, Vanessa. You gonna text her back?
Nope. I'm high. I'm gonna hit the treadmill.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Nope. I'm high. How about they come over?
Where?
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Back in 2020, the SC Black Student Union was formed with a mission statement of promoting the, quote, the advancement of those bound by social constructs, end quote. During Black History Month, BSU has held numerous events to help raise awareness around racial injustice, while also using it as a time to celebrate their heritage and culture. SCTV3's River Mitchell spoke with Kyla Henderson, the club's president.
During Black History Month, members of the BIPOC community often use the month as a time to raise awareness on social injustice and celebrate their heritage and culture. These actions are being taken by the Black Student Union here on campus.
We are an affinity club here at campus, and our mission is to bring people of color together to kind of talk about like issues and to talk about our culture.
During February, BSU has held a number of events to help educate people on African American culture. The club recently held a hair painting event using various materials to represent unique hairstyles. They're also holding a black hair exposition this Saturday with businesses in the area coming to campus to present products and services, using it as an opportunity to teach people about African American hair. The club holds other lighthearted and fun events regularly, like Family Feud and Jeopardy! The club has also made a strong effort to provide people with a safe space while trying to remove stereotypes around the Black community.
We always have a safe space, like we keep it a very safe space for people to come and talk about like whatever issues they're having on campus, or any like issues out in the world, and how can we as a club kind of help them get through whatever issues they're going through. Also by not coming off like too aggressive, because that's what a lot of people kind of think that that's what we are when we talk about like issues that are going on with us.
The club also has provided a very positive outlet for people of color on campus, with Springfield being a predominantly white campus overall.
Just be who you are, be yourself, and if you feel like you can't, here's a space to be yourself.
For the month of February, BSU will be meeting every single Monday. Starting in March and April, they will be meeting every other Monday right here in Dodge A&B. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm River Mitchell.
If you can't make the weekly meetings in the Dodge Room, the Black Student Union can be reached through their Instagram at BSU@SC.
Now we turn to some of the biggest national headlines from this past week. Monday afternoon, Delta Flight 4819 crashed upside down onto the runway of an airport located west of Toronto. All 80 passengers on board survived. The cause of the crash has not yet been determined. SCTV3's Lanaya Delgado has latest updates.
We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
One of the passengers, John Nelson, posted this video right after Delta Flight 4819 crashed on the runway near Toronto. All 80 passengers survived, and Toronto's fire chief said about 18 passengers, including a young child, were brought to the hospital.
Stemming from back sprains, head injuries, anxiety, some headaches, nausea and vomiting due to the fuel.
We believe that weather conditions may have taken part in why the plane crashed during landing. Canada got more than 20 inches of snowfall combined from Thursday evening to Sunday leading up to the crash. It is also believed the speed of the plane landing had something to do with it, since it was shown the landing gear catching fire when the plane landed on the runway. Ken Webster, a senior investigator with the Transportation Safety Board of Canada, said it's far too early to say what may have caused the crash.
It's really important that we do not speculate. What we can say is the runway was dry and there was no crosswind conditions.
Investigators are keeping the runway where the plane crashed closed for the next 48 hours to configure what happened. Over 20 investigators have been on the ground as of Tuesday afternoon. With SCTV3, I'm Lanaya Delgado.
As of Thursday morning, all but one of the injured passengers has been released from the hospital. Delta has also offered each passenger involved in the incident $30,000 in compensation.
Delegations from the U.S. and Russia met in Saudi Arabia Tuesday for the first day of talks about ending the war in Ukraine, and both sides said that the talks were productive. Noticeably, there were not any Ukrainian representatives present. SCTV3's Caitlin Kupiak has more.
After more than 4 hours of talks, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. and Russia have agreed to appoint high-level teams to work on a path to end the war in Ukraine in a way that's sustainable and acceptable to all sides.
We're not going to pre-negotiate an end to this conflict. These are the kinds of things that have to happen through hard and difficult diplomacy in closed rooms over a period of time.
Secretary Rubio was joined by Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz.
It needs to be a permanent end to the war and not a temporary end as we've seen in the past. We know just the practical reality is that there is going to be some discussion of territory.
The Trump administration also said the U.S. and Russia agreed to restore embassy staffing in Moscow and in D.C.
For us to be able to continue to move down this road, we need to have diplomatic facilities that are operating and functioning normally.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said he wasn't invited to Tuesday's meeting, but that his country needs to be a part of the conversation about its future. European allies are concerned too and organized an emergency meeting Monday in Paris.
At stake is not just the future of Ukraine, it is an existential question for Europe as a whole. This is a once-in-a-generation moment for the collective security of our continent.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he's willing to offer British peacekeeping troops to Ukraine, but that a U.S. security commitment is the only way to ensure lasting peace. Starmer is expected to visit the White House next week. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Caitlin Kupiak.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who is in the Middle East right now and was scheduled to visit Saudi Arabia later this week, announced he is postponing his trip to the country after being excluded from the talks.
Over the weekend, the corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams were dropped. Earlier this week, 4 top members of his administration resigned, and many are calling for him to be removed from office. SCTV3's Chris Schoenlieber has more.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul announced earlier this week that she is considering removing Eric Adams as the mayor of New York City. On Monday, 4 of his top members of the administration resigned, including the first deputy mayor, Maria Torres Springer.
As I said from the outset, I never broke the law, and I never would. I would never put any personal benefit above my solemn responsibility as your mayor.
Back in September of 2024, there was an investigation in Adams' administration. He was indicted on charges of bribery, fraud, and soliciting illegal foreign campaign donations. Adams, throughout the investigation, denied any criminal wrongdoing and calls for his resignation. Those concerns are still being voiced by protesters in Manhattan this past week.
Until Kathy Hochul removes Eric Adams!
Trump-aligned officials in the Justice Department were influential in getting the charges dropped. As they asked Danielle Sassoon to drop the case, in response, she resigned. Trump denied any knowledge of the process of dropping Adams' case.
Did you personally request the Justice Department to drop that case?
No, I didn't. I know nothing about it.
Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Chris Schoenlieber.
Governor Hochul announced this afternoon that she would not be removing Adams from office, but would impose limits on his power in the future.
After the break, River Mitchell has you covered with the latest updates on all things Pride Athletics.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. He's gone with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra. I'm River Mitchell, bringing you all news on Pride Athletics. Here's our weekly recap of how Springfield College athletics performed. Springfield placed third in the Morgan Classic over the weekend, losing to #1 ranked NYU on Friday while beating Arcadia on Saturday. So you can see Carter Durvage there with the kill. Led the team with 12 kills on the season. NYU had a great game though as Oseki comes through with 1 kill. About to get set up for another, coming through. Led the team with 14 kills overall, won the first 2 sets. First one in the extended set, and this third one in the extended set gets it right past Ricardo Ortiz. That is the NYU game. Now, going over to Arcadia, Springfield won that one 3-0. You see Will Kirchhoff on the kill right there. Now it's getting set up for Joey Preach, who comes flying through. And then Kyle Johnson as well, the first year, also getting involved, using their depth to win. Almost everyone on the team played in that game as well. Springfield also beat Russell Sage in 3 sets on Tuesday, now sitting at 10-2. Springfield hosts #3 ranked Vassar Saturday night at 6. On Saturday, women's basketball suffered a close 60-56 loss against Babson. Amanda Lear was the bright spot for the Pride, totaling 15 points and sank 3 3-pointers. See Cassidy Carano here, top of the paint. She's going to put it up, and that one's going to fall in pretty easily. As now we see Madison Lopez here looking to go inside and kicks it back out to Leary, who's going to drain. Looks like that's going to be another 3, one of her 5 threes on the day. So we see Leary here again, looking for some daylight. That one's going to go inside to Sharema. This one, is going to be going to Carano, cuts inside and then passes it back out to Leary, who sinks yet another 3. Springfield did fall short in this game. They sit at 5th place in the NUMAC with a 13-10 record. However, Springfield also beat Clark yesterday, winning 56-48 to move to 14-10. They play Emerson on Saturday at home. Last, men's basketball fell to 17th ranked WPI by a score of 58-52. Sophomore Zoring Livingston led the Pride with 17 points and shot 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. That's a bad shot there. And this is Livingston here. That's Flynn with the ball, and Livingston will be set up for one of his threes. Hartley inside and going to give it back to Livingston again. Another beautiful shot there for Zoran Livingston, as Springfield will look to right the ship this Saturday against Clark. With regular season for swimming and diving having come to a close, SCTV3's Liam Riley sought to see how a team will be making a splash in the postseason.
For the last 5 months, the swimming and diving team has been hard at work. The team just finished their regular season schedule and are now preparing for the postseason. Their first challenge is the NUMAC Championships, taking place this weekend at WPI. Here's how the team has been getting ready.
Honestly, we've been preparing since day one. It's literally, I work backwards. I ask them how they want to swim, what they want to, achieve at the end of the year, and focus on that. And it's been amazing watching them doing it. And yeah, they're ready to go. They're ready to go. I'm very, very excited.
We do a lot of fast practices here and there, just to, get in the racing mode. But we also do recovery, so it's nice to have the fast and then recover, fast and recover, just simulate your races and what it's going to be like at postseason. So it's fun to do that.
The Pride have been led this year by Howard Hines, who was promoted to head coach following the retirement of John Tafe last year. Before he became a coach at Springfield, however, Hines was breaking records and representing the Pride in the Olympics. Hines spoke on what it meant to be able to coach his alma mater.
It's been something that's been very exciting. Following in Coach Tafe's footsteps has been something, obviously challenging, but it's been something that, for the whole year has been, amazing. It's every single thing I've expected and more.
For Nina Lamb, this will be the last NUMACs of her career. Throughout her time at Springfield, Lamb has competed in the 200 medley relay, 200 breaststroke, and the individual medley. Lamb reflected back on her time in the pool and how it has affected her.
It's definitely showed me that you're way mentally stronger than you think. I mean, swimming's a very demanding sport, and coming into the pool every day, working hard, coming in twice a day. I mean, we sometimes swim twice a day, go to lift. It's just it's a lot on your body and a lot on your mind, but just knowing that you were able to do that for 4 years is very, like, impressive, you know?
Taking a look at the diving side of the team, Christian Butler has been flying in what's been a successful sophomore campaign. Last year, Butler won the NUMAC Diver of the Year award in his first season and has followed that up this season by winning NUMAC Diver of the Week 8 times. The NCAA diving regionals will be taking place at Springfield this year, giving Butler and the other divers a home field advantage.
Definitely a benefit to be able to have home advantage and be here at this pool and competing at regionals. Very exciting. I was able to do that last year, and my coach actually said I was 6 to 8 points away from making nationals, which in diving is very, very close. But yeah, I've definitely been determined, definitely recently, to really get focused up and lock in to try to make nationals. I think that would be a pretty cool opportunity.
To keep the team motivated heading into the NUMAC Championships, coaches displayed messages of inspiration on the Art Linkletter Notorium scoreboard. Hines shared what the team's motto has been throughout the year.
Whatever you set your mind to, you can accomplish. We've been hammering the mental part of the sport pretty much on a daily basis, so I would say that's been our motto, is like pretty much anything you put your mind to, you can achieve.
The NUMAC Championships took place earlier today with the preliminary races starting in the morning and the final heats ending at night. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Liam Riley.
Next week, the Pride will be competing in and hosting the NCAA Diving Regionals for the first time since 2020. Now we take a look at this week's upcoming schedule. The track and field team hosts their annual Triangle Classic on Saturday. Women's basketball plays their regular season finale against Emerson. With a win, the Pride can overtake Emerson in the NUMAC standings and host a NUMAC Championship quarterfinal game. Men's volleyball looks to get back on track when they take on number 3 Vassar in a matchup of 2 of the best teams in Division III. Swimming and diving has started their postseason by traveling to Worcester for the NUMAC Championships. Men's basketball sits at 4th in the NUMAC standings, but have a tall task ahead of them when they face Clark on Saturday. On Wednesday, women's lacrosse kicks off their season by taking on Skidmore. To see each team's remaining schedule, go to SpringfieldCollegePride.com. That'll do it for this edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra. Stick around to see Springfield students' presidential knowledge put to the test.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
President's Day, a national celebration of the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, falls on the 3rd Monday of February each year. SCTV3's Kyle Valentine spoke with students to see how well they know their presidents.
President's Day was this past Monday, so I went around campus asking Springfield College students some president trivia. There have been many presidents in United States history. Let's see if Springfield College students can name them all. And how many presidents have we had in the United States?
Well, there's 47, but there's some that have repeated.
Name as many as you can.
Right now?
Yep.
All right. You got George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe.
Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant.
Teddy Roosevelt, FDR, Obama, Trump. John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison.
Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton.
You got John Tyler, James K. Polk, Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore.
H.W. Bush.
Woodrow Wilson.
Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter.
Lyndon B. Johnson. Who's the one that got stuck at Taft? Obama, Bush Jr.
Dwight Eisenhower. Trump, Biden, Trump.
Wow, I think that is the first person to get them all. What president has been the tallest in history?
Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
How tall is Abe Lincoln?
Probably 6'7".
It's gotta be Lincoln. How tall was Lincoln?
Gotta be at least 6'4".
6'4" is right on the dot. What president is on the $1 bill?
George Washington.
How about the $5 bill?
Abraham Lincoln.
Correct.
George Washington.
Correct. And now what about the $5 bill?
Abraham Lincoln.
Correct.
My boy Wash.
Washington, correct. And now what about the $5?
Gotta be Lincoln, right?
It is Lincoln. A president born in Massachusetts gave the commencement speech for the class of 1956 at Springfield College. Let's see if students really dove into their history books.
Marty told me this.
Was it RFK? No, JFK? It was JFK.
JFK is correct. There's an airport named after him.
Kennedy? What's the airport? What's the airport? Not in the world. What's the,
JFK.
He's got it right.
the other Kennedy?
Wait, is it?
Oh, John.
Yes, JFK spoke at Springfield College. Fun fact, the president that served the longest term is Franklin D. Roosevelt, serving 3 terms, 4,422 days. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Kyle Valentine.
Caleb, how many presidents do you think you can name?
I don't know, Liam. Maybe 15 on a good day.
You know, if we're talking about 15, I think that's shooting for the stars for me. But that'll do it for this week's news broadcast. Thank you for tuning in.
Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel, SCTV3, for all past shows and stories, and tune in next week.
Same time,
same place.